The ancient Stoics were not just thinkers who sat alone, reflecting on life. They were deeply involved in the world around them, and that included politics. For the Stoics, politics was not just about power or control. It was about duty, justice, and how to live a good life in a community. They believed that humans were meant to live together, to help each other, and to create a society based on reason and virtue. One of the most famous Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, was himself a Roman emperor. He did not seek power for its own sake. Instead, he saw ruling as a responsibility, a way to serve others. Every day he reminded himself of his duty. He wrote in his journal, now known as Meditations, that he must act with justice, humility, and self-control. He knew that power could corrupt, so he worked hard to remain virtuous. For him, politics was not about personal gain, but about doing what was right for the people. Another great Stoic, Seneca, was an advisor to the Emperor Nero. Seneca understood the dangers of politics better than most. He lived in a time when power struggles and betrayals were common. Yet he still believed that a wise person should take part in public life if they could do good. He wrote letters explaining that avoiding politics entirely was not always the right choice. If you have the ability to improve society, you should try. But he also warned that politics could be dangerous. A Stoic must be careful not to lose themselves in greed or ambition. Epictetus, a former slave who became a great Stoic teacher, had a different view. He taught that while politics was important, not everyone needed to be a ruler or leader. What mattered most was how you lived your own life. He said that, even if you are not in power, you can still make a difference by being a good person. If you act with honesty, kindness, and courage in your daily life, you contribute to a better world. Politics, for Epictetus, was not just about laws and governments. It was about how each person chooses to behave. The Stoics believed in a concept called Cosmopolitanism. This means that all humans are part of one big community. We are not just citizens of a single city or country, but of the entire world. This idea was radical at the time. Most people only cared about their own tribe or nation. But the Stoics said that justice and fairness should apply to everyone, no matter where they were born. They believed that leaders should think about the good of all people, not just their own power or wealth. This way of thinking had a big influence on later political ideas. Many modern concepts of human rights and equality can be traced back to Stoic philosophy. The idea that all people deserve respect, that leaders should serve rather than oppress, and that laws should be based on reason. These are all Stoic principles. Of course, the Stoics knew that politics was not perfect. They saw corruption, war, and injustice in their own time. But they did not give up. They believed that even in difficult situations, a person could still choose virtue. Marcus Aurelius faced wars and plagues during his rule, but he never stopped trying to be a just leader. Seneca lived under a cruel emperor, yet he still wrote about the importance of wisdom and kindness. For the Stoics, the key was balance. They did not say that everyone must be a politician, but they also did not say that politics was meaningless. The right choice depended on the person and the situation. If you could serve others through politics, you should. If you could not, then you should focus on improving yourself and those around you. Either way, the goal was the same: to live with virtue and to make the world a little better. Their teachings remind us that politics is not just about elections or laws. It is about how we treat each other every day. A Stoic would say that even small actions matter. Being fair in your dealings, standing up for what is right, helping those in need, these are all political acts in the deepest sense. The Stoics did not have all the answers. They lived in a very different world from ours. But their ideas about duty, justice, and the common good are still valuable today. In a time when politics often feels divided and selfish, their wisdom can guide us. They remind us that true leadership is service, that power must be used wisely, and that every person has a role to play in building a better society. So the next time you think about politics, ask yourself, what would the Stoics do? Would they seek power for themselves, or would they use it to help others? Would they ignore injustice, or would they stand against it, even at great personal cost? The answers to these questions are not always easy, but the Stoics teach us that the struggle is worth it, because in the end, a life lived with virtue is the only life worth living. This is the Stoic view of politics, not as a game of winners and losers, but as a duty, a challenge, and an opportunity to make the world a little more just, a little more kind. And that is a lesson we can all carry with us, no matter what role we play in society.